July 12, 2023, it's A plus crypto, often imitated, never duplicated. Let's take a look at this 2-week Bitcoin chart and what we have going on here. Just want to point out a couple basic things to you on this chart. If you look at this green line, right, this is all the way back in 2016. So we're going back about 7 years ago. If you look, once we got past this line and once this line was formed, we did use this line as some support, but we just continued to go up as soon as this turned green on this 2-week indicator, right? Then when we came down, it wasn't until we got below and we got rejected off of this green before it turned into a problem, which caused it to turn red. Once it turned red, this continued to be our resistance. We dropped down, we created a low. Once we broke through the red again and turned this line green, then we were in the midst of another significant move up. Okay, we got back down to this green line, which everybody probably anticipated was going to be a support. We did break through that. We attempted to climb back up above it. We didn't get rejected right here. We made it above this line, but then we came down, and once we really got rejected finally on this 2-week, we got smashed down to our bottom once again. Okay, so this is how we completed our double bottom, by breaking through this green moving average, rejecting off of it, and then forming a bottom. Okay, then we went back up. Once we smashed through that red line, it was all good to go. This was actually the C crash right here, if you're familiar with that, where we went down to $3,800. Okay, now once we came back up here and past this line again at around 8,600, this was the beginning of the next bull run. All right, so then we rose all the way up here. It definitely wasn't as big. Pay attention, because it wasn't as big as this one, right? It was a lot smaller. It was a lot shorter time span that we went up, but we did have a double top here, which we did not have in the prior. Okay, so possibly if you look at the double top and you look at this top, it might have been the same distance, but we're still losing this increase in gains, right? Because that's called diminishing returns. All right, now back to this line. So we use this as support. We came down, we did bounce off of it as support. Looked like we was going to break through, but then it seemed to be holding us as support. And at the same time, you can see that the moving average had not turned red yet. Okay, so we did make it back above it. We used it as support and then created an all new high. However, following, it dropped right back down. The moving average turned red. We ended up using this moving average as a resistance, got rejected off of it, struggled to try to fight it, but it just wasn't happening. Got rejected, came all the way down to 18,000 when that 17,000 when that finally happened. This is actually when I started telling people to buy at this mark right here. Then we started going back up like, woohoo, Bitcoin's back already, bottom's in. Oh, sorry, no guys, we still hadn't crossed that red line. So we continued to go down as expected, and we did create a new low. This was the absolute bottom so far of Bitcoin. This is when I was screaming to everybody to buy it, if you check my videos. Following that, we decided to come back up above this moving average again. We went above it, and currently we are using it as support. All right, so if we are in this area right here, which could be this area right here, which can also even be this area right here, then you should be seeing some significant gains over the next couple months, guys. I mean, some really significant gains. Okay, now what the things you want to be careful for, okay, keep in mind this is a 2-week chart, so each one of these candles is 2 weeks long. A lot can happen in 2 weeks, guys. Right now, our support moving average, which we should not break below according to previous bull markets, is sitting at about $24,000. So it's still possible for us even to drop all the way down to this right here, and we would still be super bullish, like super bullish. Okay, even at around $23,500, $24,000. It's more likely though, right, that we are going to come down to this line right here, which is a fib retracement line, and this is the 28,000 level. Okay, this is a pretty big candle. I wouldn't be surprised as over the next 3 weeks or so we made like a bull flag pattern here by coming down to this 28,000 level, and then can continue up to go higher to the next level, which the next fib level is about $35,687. So I am expecting some moves up. Now I'm just showing you guys very basic stuff right here. If I add another indicator in, or a couple more indicators, I want to show you guys something because it's pretty interesting, right? This 2-week chart is a very valid chart. It's usually pretty good at discovering what part of the market we're in, whether we're going up or down. As you can see, you don't have many times where like it changes his mind or tries to trick you. Usually when we get that cross, we get that cross, and that's it. That's one of the things I love about using the 2 weeks on my chart. If you're using the daily, you get a bunch of fake outs all the time. Sometimes that can even happen with the weekly, not as much. But when you get up to the 2 weeks or the monthly, there's very rarely a fake outs on any of these indicators. So it is much better to make your big calls and build your bags based on these higher time frame indicators. Let me draw your attention to this RSI chart, okay? When you look at this RSI chart, you want to look at this yellow line versus the purple line. When the purple line is on top, that usually means we're going up, right? When the purple line is on bottom, that usually means we're coming down. So let's take a look over the course of time how this played out. So if you look here, here's the first cross from yellow to purple. It's right here. So literally, Bitcoin was at 19,000 when we got this first signal, okay? That said, guys, we should sell, and we should sell. So after that, Bitcoin came all the way down to, what is this, like $2,000, $3,000? Bitcoin came all the way down to $3,159 after getting that signal. If you look here on the MACD section, we also got that signal, but it came in a little bit later. It came in at around $11,000. So the RSI predicted it at about 17,000. Then the MACD predicted it at 11,000. Whether you would have got out at either one of them 2 times, you still would have been able to bought back in at $3,000 and basically tripled the amount of Bitcoin that you had. Now, if we look here, another indicator, the stochastic RSI, okay, this one can be a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more tricky. The lines crossing each other doesn't mean as much as when they cross this zone, these zones right here, okay? Usually when you cross this top line, that means Bitcoin is going up, and it's going to be going up for a little bit. Once they cross and then comes back below this line, it usually means Bitcoin is going to be going down until it gets to this bottom area, okay? The lines crossing each other doesn't matter as much as when it crosses these 2 lines. Now, if you look here, we got our first line cross of this top line right here on this chart when Bitcoin was also around $17,000. So this was the first sign combined with this RSI signal that's saying, hey, you know, maybe Bitcoin's oversold and maybe you should sell and get out of it, okay? Then it appeared to go down. Once it's at the bottom under this level, that means we're going to continue to go down until it moves back up into this, right? So once we did push down, we stayed down here. Let's follow this. We stayed down here all the way until the next RSI cross, which is very interesting, right? And we stayed down here until Bitcoin was at about a high of $3,700. So as of now, you would have sold at either 17,000 or 11,000, and you would have got a buy signal back around $3,700, which is pretty good, I must say. That's pretty significant. Also, if you look, the MACD crossed right about the same time. Once again, the MACD does take a little bit longer to cross, so Bitcoin was more about $5,000 mark when you got that signal from the MACD. All right. Now, if we continue to use this strategy, we would go to the next time where this purple line crossed this yellow line, and we can see the high of Bitcoin this day was $10,800. Okay, cool. So now if we continue on, and look for the next bottom, okay, which would be somewhere over here or over here, all right? We're going to say right here, we would have bought back in where this line crossed, okay? So we would have bought back in where Bitcoin was roughly $7,000 to $10,000, okay? This didn't work so well to catch this C crash dip, all right? This was the C crash dip, which is also known as a black swan event, which can sometimes throw off your charting a little bit. But it did not do much, as you can see. If we would have bought back in at that $10,000 mark, the next time we would have got a sell signal was up here. And Bitcoin's high was $61,000, guys. So if you would have bought in just using these simple time frames and simple chart patterns, you would have bought in at 10K and you would have sold out at $61,000, guys. That's a 600% increase of your funds. All right. So there are simple ways to read these charts. So if we're going to continue this and we're going to see where are we at now, what's going on now, what should our next move be? Let's take a look. So currently, I'm feeling pretty bullish, but I do have some concerns. Let me show you what they are. All right. So first of all, we did cross our EMA line here. If you've been following, you already know what this is. I'm not going to explain anymore. All right. So we did cross it here. We got rejected here. So this basically told us to sell at $47,000. All right. If you would have been using the MACD, it would have told you to sell at approximately $40,000. And if you would be using this RSI combined with the stochastic RSI, like we discussed, you would have sold at $61,000. Okay. So now let's go back over here. Let's continue to follow these strategies. All right. So we're going to look and see here. It looks like the bottom was in. It looks like the bottom was put in approximately right here where this first cross is. And it comes out of that line, which would have had you buying at approximately $19,000. Okay. So our low was 16, 15, maybe 15,800, depending on where you're looking. But buying at 16, hey, not a problem. Buying at 19 isn't too bad. So we would have went here and we would have based this on these two crosses. And if you would have used this RSI, you would have been buying at approximately 16,200 to 17,000. So you literally would have caught the bottom by using this RSI chart on the 2 week. I mean, you can't get better than this. You just really can't. You just really can't. So let's continue to look at this. So we have been moved up since we have crossed. Our stochastic RSI is up here, which is a little scary because this means that once it crosses this line, we're going to be on our way back down and we're going to make a significant move down. It may not be a little move down. It may be a significant move down. So let's hope we can continue to go up a little bit more before that happens. Now, what I'm actually expecting is this RSI level to make it up here to this 70 range or so, which will bring Bitcoin up a significant amount. I'd be happy if we can get to this old high, but I really don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see some significant resistance on these fib levels. You got a fib level here at the first one that we're going to be facing is going to be 35,400. The next one is going to be 41,500. And we're going to have another significant one at 48,000. These are all significant numbers that are going to play a huge part in us going sideways and making the bull run take longer. Keep in mind, I cannot stress this enough. This is a 2-week chart. Lots of things happen in a 2-week chart. Guys, in the course of this 2 weeks right here, this candle, Bitcoin opened at 26,350. Its high was 31,300 and its low was 26,200. Okay, so you're looking at a $5,000 swing over that 2 weeks, and that's nothing for Bitcoin. Because if you look here, here we had a low of 21,900 with a high of 34,700. So you're looking at almost a $15,000 swing there. All right, so let's not even worry too much about the swings, but just know that when you're using this chart, things can look bad during the week. It doesn't matter. It's not about how it plays out or how it looks in one day. It's about where it finishes on that Sunday when this closes, okay? And if you finish at the same spot, close to the same number or above in the direction that, or just basically in the direction you're going, you're gaining. It don't matter what happened during the week. And that's where I think a lot of people mess up with trading. All right, so currently we're at this 30,439 level. We have a fib retracement level below us of 27,000. Well, it's actually right around 28,000, we'll say. Around 28,000 or so. There's a good chance of us falling back to it. I would not be surprised at all. To be honest, we can fall back down to this green moving average right here, which is currently sitting at about 23,500, we'll say. We can fall back down to that and still be very bullish. This is going to start moving up, but this moves up slowly. Remember, we're not going to close another candle for 2 weeks, okay? So with that being said, 28, that's definitely in the realm of a possibility of us bouncing down to, pulling back to, and then continuing our roll up. Also, 23,500, 25,000, all of them numbers are numbers we can still come back to and be bullish. The main thing you want to look out for, to make sure we're not going to enter a bear market again, is you want to go to this 2-week chart. You want to keep an eye on this stochastic RSI level. Make sure it doesn't come below this 70, 80 mark and start pushing down, because that will bring Bitcoin down. Now, you don't have to run out, because like I said, we do have support. We have support at the 25,000 and we have very strong support at 28,000. So we do have support. But if that support breaks while these other indicators have crossed negatively, then that's something to be concerned about. Okay, right now, I personally think that I've said it maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago even. I said that we'd probably be going between 18,000 or 20,000 and 32,000 for quite some time. I said maybe the next 4 to 6 months we would be between these numbers. All right, it's been probably 3 or 4 months at least since I've said that, and we're still here in these numbers. Okay, so just remember, once the bottom is in, that doesn't mean it's time for Bitcoin to go crazy, but it does mean it's time for you to start accumulating, okay? Accumulate your Bitcoin, accumulate your altcoins. Don't put all your money out there at once. There could be dips in the market. This market just doesn't go up and down, okay? They try to shake out strong hands. They try to get your crypto from you. Guys, don't let them take your crypto. They want to control everything. They want you to have nothing and want nothing. This is your chance at financial freedom. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, this is your chance. Don't let them scare you from making the moves that you know you need to make. This is not financial advice, guys, but this is what I see here on my charts. It's pretty easy to assume what is going to happen next when you're looking at the big picture. Once I go down to this 1 day, as you can see, everything looks a lot different. You got your stochastic RSI looking like it's trying to be bullish, with your regular RSI looking like it's trying to be bearish. You got a bearish MACD, but this stuff changes in a day. You can see how often this line changes right here, from red to green, red to green, red to green, red to green, and it still helps. But the situation is, when you go to this 2-week chart, you don't see it change too often. You just don't see it change too often. And usually when it's green, you're bullish, and when it's red, you're bearish. It's pretty simple, guys. Hopefully you stayed till the end and you learned something here. I gave you price predictions. Do me a favor, follow and subscribe.